coming on here.
Yeah, Mark, you ready?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, proud of the effort of the kids. Overall, we put ourselves in a position to win in the fourth quarter and just didn't get it done. So congratulate Pitt. They've got a really good football team. Second half, we played as good defense as we've played all year. And, had our chances, but the defense gave us a chance. The offense was awful the first half, as bad as I've ever seen. Offensively, they came back and we did a better job of moving the ball, but we still get stopped on a couple of fourth downs and we don't make the 2-point play and drop a touchdown pass. I mean, it's just that part's very, very frustrating. I don't know why we can't put a whole game together and have both sides play well. Punting game was bad early. It put our defense in an awful spot with some short fields. But like I said, the first half offense was terrible. They adjusted and did some things. And then I should have gone for the 4th and 2 at the end, 4th and 3, because the way it ended up, the rain was really hard and put us in an awful position in overtime. You're on the road. The reason I didn't do it, I got talked out of it, but also we hadn't made 4th down and 3 or 4 or 2. But I still, looking back, I would have been better off going for the 4th down at that point.
Okay, if you have a question, please use the raise hand button. We'll get to you here in a second. And Luciano, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Your 2 of Pitt's touchdowns came after punt returns longer than 20 yards. How would you evaluate your special teams performance today, and how big of an impact would you say it had on the final outcome?
I think all the special teams were really good, except for the 2 punts you mentioned. And one of them was from the 1-yard line, and it was not a very good punt, and we didn't cover it very well. And the second one was the same. So after that, we cleaned it up, and all the other punts were good. All the kickoffs were out of the end zone. All the field goals were made. We didn't have a chance to return a punt, but or we didn't do very well when we did. But special teams, the 2 you mentioned were bad. Everything else was good.
Andrew Jones, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, what adjustments did you guys make defensively at halftime, and what was the key to keeping them from moving the ball like they were in the first half?
Well, we played more sound. We just played better, Andrew, more than anything else. That's what we've been needing to do all year, and we played with more confidence. The defense is the only reason we were in the game. If the defense hadn't played their hearts out the first half, it would have been a blowout. So, but Jay can talk to you about that on Monday. But I thought the defensive staff and the defensive kids did a good job tonight. I think they held them like 100 yards, and that was the only reason to think that we had momentum going into overtime, that we'd have a chance to stop them here. This game is so much like the one we had here 2 years ago, because we were behind, we came back, we tied it up, we went into overtime, and then lost on a 4th down play.
Not looking for a silver lining, but this is the 4th straight game your team has shown a lot of resolve. And is there something that with that you can actually build on moving forward, knowing that with Miami, Notre Dame last week, and this week you guys did something late to give yourselves a chance or win those games?
Yeah, Andrew, we're so much better football team than we were when the season started. It's not even close. And that's why we've got to do well in our last 2 games here and hopefully get to a bowl game. But we just need to keep getting better. The kids are trying hard. They hung in there together. They kept fighting. They didn't quit last week. They didn't quit at Miami when Miami went on a roll and scored 17-7 in the 3rd quarter. And then tonight they sure didn't quit, even though the offense weren't playing well. They played hard. Playing 3 ranked teams in 13 days, 2 of them on the road, had a chance to win all 3 games is disappointing that we only won 1.
Thank you.
Thank you. C.L. Brown, go ahead.
Mack, with you saying that you probably should have gone for it at the end of regulation, I mean, given the length of your career and everything, I don't imagine there are too many games where you kind of you would say that right after the game. I was just curious, like you said you got talked out of it. How did somebody manage to talk you out of?
Well, that's my fault. I can't get talked out of it unless I don't want to do it. And so I I changed my mind. If I'd have known it was going to rain like that and put our kids in such a bad position, I sure wouldn't have waited.
And defensively, you guys limited Pickett to only 80 yards in the third and fourth quarter. What adjustments were made at halftime that, was able to keep him in the box after the start he got off to?
Yeah, that's why Jay talks to you on Monday. We'll let him cover all that with you, because they did a tremendous job and they've been under fire all year, and they have struggled. And I think the biggest thing is we made plays. We dropped an interception at the end of the game where we're still going to win with a last second field goal. We dropped a touchdown pass. We're still not making all the plays we need to make. 2 false starts when you're first and goal from the 2 with a little over a minute left. We've got to clean up all that stuff, and that's on us as coaches. But defensively, it shows hope moving forward, and a lot of guys had their best games tonight.
Okay, let's go to Gregory Hall.
Hey, Mac, what was the message to the team after the game? Obviously, you mentioned the issues offensively at the beginning, but then obviously the comeback at the end, and just didn't get it done, but still down 17-0 against one of the best offenses in the country.
Yeah, Greg, I always feel like I'm as honest as with you all as I can, and obviously very disappointed, and told them the same thing. I love their effort. I love their confidence. If they'll just keep fighting, we'll get where we want to go. And they never let up tonight. As bad as things were offensively, they didn't point fingers and they didn't yell at each other. They just kept competing, and defensively just kept getting better and better and better against one of the best quarterbacks and offenses in the country. And like I said, last week, the offense was the reason we won the game. The defense made a few stops in the end. Tonight, the defense would have been the reason we won the game, and the offense had to make a few plays. And they made the plays to get us back in the game. They didn't make the plays to finish the game.
How did you see the offense change, specifically Sam? Because, that offensive stretch there, which is consistently 3 and outs, it isn't something Sam's ever had to deal with. So how did you see the offense change and him kind of lead them to make the plays to come back?
Yeah, the first half, I thought it reminded me of Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech, which were really bad offensive performances. And then the second half, I thought they came back, and it wasn't going to be a good night offensively, because it just kept having things happen time and time again. We'd have a chop block, which is great. We'd have a holding call. We'd have just time after time, something. And then we didn't make the 4th and shorts. If you can't make 4th downs and you go for it, it's going to be hard to win games.
Okay, Adam Smith, go ahead.
Mac, not to belabor the point about the end of the game and going for it or not going for it, but was part of your thinking there, that you clearly had the momentum and things were headed in your direction, so you kick the field goal and go to overtime feeling like things are have fully shifted in your favor?
Yes, Adam, absolutely. They weren't moving the ball at all. We were. So that's why we went for it. It's easy to sit here and second guess myself. But if I'd known it was going to pour the rain, it would have been more fair for the kids to take a one shot.
Did Sam say anything? It looked like, he was just trying to keep his hands dry in overtime. He's like rubbing them on his pants. Was he saying it was impossible to throw?
Towels, and we tried to give them dry towels, but it was pouring. It was hard to hold the ball.
All right, Coach, that's all we have for you tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mark.
All right, Jeremiah, we'll get right to it. CL Brown, go ahead.
Jeremiah, what to you was the difference with how you guys were able to basically shut Pitt down in the second half and able to climb back in the game with those stops you guys were making?
I think it was really just getting into one of our base calls that we could really run well and that everybody was on the same page with. And then on third down, trying to get exotic with it. And then I think that's what really equaled us up to shutting them out in the third and fourth quarter. Our D-line was getting after in the third and fourth quarter, and usually you see him rolling out of there making throws like he was in the first half, but in the second half we were able to get home and get off the field on third down a lot better than we did in the first half.
Did you feel like you guys had them kind of backpedaling at that point, like all the momentum was in your favor and you guys were going to win it in regulation?
Oh, definitely. I mean, the guys being with the guys on this team, playing ball with them for so long, like being down 17-0 in the first quarter. I mean, nobody bats an eye. I mean, guys are ready to continue to fight, and I think I mean you saw that with our guys. I mean, fight to the very end.
Gregory Hall, go ahead.
Jeremiah, can you take us through that interception? I mean, bouncing off two guys' hands and putting you guys in a position to either tie or take the lead there at the end.
Yeah, at first I thought it was going to be like a little boot action play, and I was rolling to turn around to see if there was an over route coming from the field. Instead, it was like a little slip screen, and I just saw the ball would get batted up in the air 2 times, and I was bobbling a little bit in my hands. I was thinking about running with it, but I was like, let me just go ahead and catch this and secure the interception.
And before that interception, as Pitt was coming out and you guys were still trailing, what was the message to the defense as you guys had been getting those stops?
Just to continue to do what we're doing and get off the field on third down, give the ball back to our offense and get them in score position so we can cut the score down and hopefully push it to a win or get it into overtime like we did. And I think we did a great job in the second half. I mean, even the guys who are rotating off the bench coming in, Jalil Taylor coming in, who hasn't really played too much in prior weeks, played a lot more in this game than he usually has. And KJ Hester, Ray playing a great game. I just think the D front just did a great job. And then the secondary in the second half being able to plaster like they did. I think in the first half, they found out like once the plays started breaking down, like once the play broke down, the receivers got out of the route, they just decided just to run straight to the sideline, because that's usually where Pickett would run. I mean, once he flushed out the pocket, he go straight to the sideline. So the receivers run to the sideline, and I think the DBs and everybody figured that out in the second half. We were able to plaster them longer, and that's when we were able to get some sacks on them.
Andrew Jones.
Jeremiah, and they moved the ball some in the second quarter, but they didn't come away with points a couple of times, and you guys were able to kind of get out the field. Did you kind of start getting your momentum going defensively in that second quarter and were able to carry that over?
I believe we did, because that's when we started. It was like, I think it was the second last drive before we were going to halftime. That's when we started talking with the DBs, and because the pass rush was getting there, like we were getting them out of the pocket and we were on them, but it was just those outbreaking routes to the sidelines that when broken plays got down that they were getting third downs on. And I think once we started talking about that just led into the second half, and we were able to produce a lot more not three and outs, but getting off the field on third down. I felt like that was the problem really in the first quarter and a little bit in the second half, was just being able to get off the field on third down when we get them in 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, get off the field. And then I think we hurt ourselves a couple of times in the first half, having some penalties on third down when we could have gotten off the field.
When an offense is rolling, it gets into a rhythm. Defensively, could you say that you guys kind of got into a defensive rhythm of sorts tonight at some point?
I would say so. I mean, we came to the sidelines. We pretty much looked each other in the eye, defensive line, secondary linebackers that like, hey, like we need to get the ball back to the offense. Like if they're not playing well right now, we don't need to be on the field longer, making them colder. We need to let the offense like somewhat get in the rhythm, because I feel like both of us kind of were out of sorts in the first quarter, like offensively and defensively. I think we're both out of sorts. So we come to the sidelines like, okay, let's we need to get a 3 and out. We need to get a stop so we can get the ball back to our offense, so the offense can start to get into a rhythm of the game. And I think that's when you started to see us play together more as a team, and in the second half when we were starting to get off the field a lot more.
Thank you.
Adam Smith, go ahead.
Jeremiah, do you leave out of here feeling like this was a missed opportunity? I mean, Mack, when he talked to us, he's dripping wet, and he sounded pretty disappointed. I mean, do you feel like as many things as that went wrong at the start, you might have should have been able to get out of here with a win?
I mean, I look at any loss as honestly a missed opportunity. Then, and I thought it was a great call to actually just kick the ball when we were down near the goal line. I mean, the defense had been playing so great in the second half. Like, why would you not kick it and go into overtime with our defense playing so second half. So I thought it was the right call. Yeah, I obviously think it's a missed opportunity. I think any loss is really a missed opportunity at the end of the day. But I think we played the game right. We thought we played it the smart way, especially how the defense was playing in the second half. So yeah, I think it was a missed opportunity.
Were guys still talking about that afterward, like kick it or not kick it, go for it or not go for it?
Honestly, nobody was talking about Coach Mack's decision. We were talking about like some of the things we could have did correctly, like jumping off sides, easy, try to come up and try to put the blame on him. But there's so many things that happen through the course of the game. Like it's we lose and win as a team. I mean, defensively, we could have gotten off the field plenty of times, like I said, and we had penalties and we didn't get off the field. So you could have blamed that on us. I mean, there's so many things that go into a course of game. You can't just blame it on one person or one side of the ball. I think we just lost as a team. We win and lose as a team.
Thank you, man.
Greg Barnes, go ahead.
Hey, Jeremiah, this was a must win for this team to stay in the Coastal Division race. You mentioned the offense and the defense kind of being out of sorts early. What do you think that was for such a big game?
Well, first of all, I think we're really playing a good Pitt football team. Last time I checked, I think Pitt was like one of the top 5 or 6 teams in the nation in scoring offense. I believe they had like over 40 points per game this season. And then I think their defense led in sacks in the ACC this season. And I think last year they actually led the country, or they were top 3 or 4 or 5 in the country in sacks. So, I mean, we were facing a great Pitt football team. They came with they actually did a couple things different that we didn't think they would, make some adjustments to in such a short week period. We both played on Saturday last week, and it's a quick turnaround to come play back on Thursday. And they threw some crinkles in the first and second quarter, but once we got those adjustments made in the second half, I mean, we showed that the football we could have played. And I mean, give it out to Pitt. I mean, Pitt's a great football team. They showed it over the course of the year.
So you don't mean that the team wasn't ready to play. You just mean that Pitt kind of hit you early.
I thought we had a great week of practice, and then I can definitely speak from the defensive side of the ball. Like the little nuggets we learned in 3 to 4 days it was like we game planned for 2 weeks with all the nuggets that we had on Pitt, their left tackle stance, whether it's pass or run, their splits, whether it's pass or run. I mean, everybody was clued in, and I think we were definitely ready to play the game this weekend. I mean, you could see that in the second half. I mean, we knew the tendencies they had. We just had wrinkles that they put in.
Great. Thank you.
Our last one for Jeremiah will come from Michael Coe.
Hey, Jeremiah. So that rain that came down there at the end, have you, in your years of playing football, have you ever seen it rain that hard in a game? Because it looked like it was pouring on TV.
Oh yeah, it was definitely pouring out there, but yeah, I've played in games like that, but not in my collegiate career. Definitely played in high school games where it's pouring down rain like that, and down in South Georgia. But in my collegiate career, no, I've never really played in a rainy game like that. And then we're in the Windy City up here. I mean, the wind's blowing, so the rain's blowing every which way. So yeah, I've never really played in a game with rain coming down that hard, especially with the wind.
Thank you.
All right. All right, Sam, thank you for a few minutes. CL Brown, go ahead.
Sorry, couldn't unmute. Sam, I wanted to see if you could take me through that final possession in regulation when you guys end up having to kick the field goal instead of being able to punch it in. Did you have were you lobbying at all in the huddle during the timeout to try and go for the win as opposed to sending it in overtime?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I was kind of indifferent. I understood both ways just because our defense was playing great. So I really had a lot of faith in our defense, and really I think Pitt on defense was doing a really good job down there on the goal line, and that was an area where we struggled kind of throughout the game on the goal line. So I stand behind what we did. That's probably what I would have did. So I have no regrets about the decisions we made.
And how difficult was it when that rain really started coming down hard in the overtime period? How difficult was it to get a grip to be able to pass? And I thought the one to Kamari, it seemed like it slipped, or was it just you couldn't get your proper stance or something?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does make it harder, but, I can make any excuse, at the end of the day, the game's on the line. We got to execute to win the game. Our defense did a heck of a job all night long, kept us in it. We struggled in the first half and still kind of we're in a position to win the game. We had a lot of opportunities, and no matter the circumstances, we got to make a play there at the end, and we didn't tonight.
Gregory Hall.
Sam, how would you compare last week's 18-point comeback to tonight's 16-point comeback?
Yeah, I mean, it's just who this team is. We've had so much adversity throughout the year, and we just keep fighting. That's why I love this team so much. No matter what people say about us, no matter what adversity hits us, we just keep fighting back. And this team's so resilient, and I'm just super blessed to be a part of this team.
And what was said at halftime? Because that first half offensive performance outside of the 76-yard touchdown was, Mack said it was one of the worst that he's seen. So just what was said at halftime and what was different between the first half and the second?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really say a whole lot. I think the main thing, we just told everybody to settle down. We've been in this position before. So really just settle down, focus on your job, just do your job. Don't look up at the scoreboard, just keep fighting, keep playing, keep making plays, and we'll see where we're at the end. And that's what we were able to do in the second half. I still think we didn't play near as good enough as we should have, as we needed to win the game in the second half. We had a lot of opportunities. Got stopped on fourth down. I think got stopped on fourth down twice, maybe 3 times, including overtime, maybe 4 times. So we just got to execute in those scenarios. We had a lot of chances to win the game, and as bad as we played on offense, we had a chance to win at the end. And that's just credit to our defense and how good they played tonight.
Greg Barnes, go ahead.
Hey, Sam, I wanted to ask about that 4th and 4 play near midfield where you took a shot down the field into the end zone. What was that, just a shot play, or did you have other options there?
Yeah, I mean, we had 3 receivers. We were in 7-man protection, had 3 receivers. And I was looking at Jo first, Justin Olsen first, and it looked like he had a step on his on the corner. And I gave him a chance. I really just got to give him a catchable ball, something that he can make a play on.
And you mentioned the team's resiliency in coming back. Well, we've seen that time and time again over the last 3 years. What's the key to getting off to better starts so you don't have to have these incredible comebacks?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's your mentality. You got to come out with an edge. You got to come out ready to compete. We're not just going to come out here and roll over everybody. You got to come out here with an edge. You got to come out here with a mindset, ready to go. And it's just a lack of focus. I think early on in the first half, Pitt came out with more energy than we did. They're playing more physical than we were, and it just felt like we couldn't get anything going. And it's credit to those guys on defense; they did a good job. But on offense, we just got to lock in, do our job, and come out with an edge.
Thanks.
Adam Smith.
Sam, the way the first half went with you guys falling behind, and also the sacks that Pitt was able to get. I think they sacked you 4 times on you guys' first 4 possessions. Did it feel like a deja vu situation with Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech? It kind of sort of looked like it was playing out that way, like those games did.
Yeah, I mean, we had slow starts to those games too, and I just think it's just a lack of focus from everybody. It's not just on the O-line. There's I haven't watched the film yet, but I'm sure there's plenty of things that I could have done to prevent those sacks. But we just need to do a better job when things are going bad, just to kind of forget about the last play and move on to the next. We just had on our first 4 drives, we just had bad plays and kind of let it keep affecting us. So we just got to do a better job just moving on.
There at the end, when you guys get the ball back, I think it was on Gemmel's interception, and you're down 3. Are you thinking, if we get close, we're going to try to win this thing? Are you thinking that a field goal is fine and you go to overtime? Like, where was your mind at as you guys were getting closer and closer? Like, what did you want out of that drive?
Yeah, I mean, our mindset on offense was, we're not going to play conservative. We're going to go out there and try to win the game. And defense did a really good job getting us the ball back. Credit to those guys, credit to Jeremiah. And we just weren't able to execute. Had a penalty down there that really cost us. I think the play we had really was going to work. Then we had a play where the defense collapsed and we snapped the ball. Should have been a penalty. And we had to throw the ball away, wasted a play there. So we had plenty of opportunities. We just got to make a play down there, but we certainly weren't going for the field goal. We wanted to score and take the lead.
Thank you.
All right, Sam, thank you for a few minutes. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.